like a very short ass. More than usual.
You never know. I'll be back around in a little bit, other things.
Oh, no way. We need to go on the lift. There's a lift? Stop looking at that. Can we jump on first? Lift.
Got me my start. Then my brothers after me. You could hear the noise from where we lived, but nothing prepared you for the size of things. They put me to work on 401. That's what we called her. We knew she'd be the largest passenger ship in the world, but we didn't call her Titanic then. I was there from the beginning. I watched the ship race lay the keel blocks. They set big wooden blocks on the slipway to start with. Then the keel at top of it, like a backbone, and the frames attached to that, like a skeleton. Workshops everywhere. It took weeks to find your way around. The workshops of every trade you ever heard of. Painters, sailmakers, coppersmiths, boiler makers, cabinet makers. I even learned a bit about French polishing of them. Harlowers is a fine place to work, but dangerous. Every ship cost a life, and there'd be lots of injuries besides. I was in the engine works for a while. Very well equipped it was. That's where we built the triple expansion engines. 2 of them, each as high as a 3-story house. I worked in the frame bending shop. You'd heat steel beams in the furnace, then hook them onto slabs of cast iron and hammer them curved. It was skilled work. You had to bend them more than you needed because the frame straightened out a little when it cooled. The shell plates that made up the hull weighed up to 4.5 tons. They were taller than the da. The plates were overlapped on the edges. Some were raised, one after another. We called it clincher. One of the foremen told me years ago, that's how you built steel ships. I worked as a heater boy. You had to heat the rivets on a wee plate. You pumped the bellows till the rivet was white hot. Then you get a hold of it with your tongs and throw it up to the catcher. And he put it in the hole in the plate with the holder up. There were 2 of us on the other side of the plate with the holder up. We had to hammer the rivet so it filled the hole before it turned dull red. The double bottom. That's a wee space we called the tanks, made up of steel plates. The rest of the rivet squad all had to fit into that gap. One of the foremen would check each rivet with a special hammer. It made a ringing sound. We'd have to get back and chase it out after work. I'd get scared working down in that double bottom. You only had candles for light. And the constant hammering against the shell plates. You could hear it all over Belfast. Some of those boys ended up stone deaf, so they did. We were paid 31 bob a week. The heater boy in Catchword at 16 bob. But we all worked the same 54 hours. The upper deck was steel too, and part of the strength of the ship. There's no straight lines in a ship. And when you look down the weather deck, you can see the shear of a hull, but stop for reflection at sea. The
stern frame had to be strong enough to take the rudder turning in heavy seas. You'd have all these timbers and guy wires to steady the frame, and men scurrying around like ants underneath.
When we came to launch day, I was torn between pride and fear. The standing ways were coated in tallow, train oil and soft soap, so the ship would slide when they shifted her weight off the block. That was the most dangerous part, when the shipwrights were knocking away the last props. They were under compression, you see, and the sliding ways would be released by the hydraulic trigger.
100,000 people watched the launch. Some paid a bob to sit in the reserved seating. There were extra trams laid on. Then we all went off to the pub to wish her well.
Yeah, right.
Ach, you were proud to be an island man that day. And Titanic was the pride of Belfast.
Transforming the massive hull into the sumptuous appointed liner described by the White Star Line as a queen of the ocean. By March 1912,
Jesus.
Titanic was ready
Took 4 or 5 minutes left him.
for Belfast, the triumphant culmination of many years of mining and labor. Before she could be handed over, Titanic had to undergo sea trials. On the 2nd of April 1912, she carried out a series of investigations under the watchful eye of Port and Trade Inspector Francis Phillips. The White Star Line had already constructed the massive deep-water ocean dome, covering almost 16 acres and dredged to a depth of 40 feet. England's premier passenger port was flourishing, with new shops, restaurants and businesses opening to service the growing passenger trade. And job opportunities on board ship and in the docks brought migrants from all over Britain and Ireland. Almost 400 of Titanic's crew lived in Southampton's northern district. A national coal strike had left several ships laid up in dock, and the prospect of a job on Titanic was a welcome relief for crewmen who managed to sign up. On April 5th, Titanic was dressed in her signal flags and pennants as a Good Friday tribute to the people of Southampton who welcomed her. By April 10th, the ship had been fully provisioned, including 75,000 pounds of fresh meat, 40,000 eggs, 1,000 sweetbreads, and 8,000 cigars. At 7 a.m., Captain Edward John Smith came aboard the Titanic to prepare for the Board of Trade muster parade. Around 9:30, the first passenger arrived in the boat trade of London. By late morning, all the passengers were on board.
Good cruise. See the carpets? I took a picture and go, Sarah, look what I found. Our carpets.
It's not far off.
Yeah, exactly.
2 miles, it's provided your third mile.
Oh, ooh la la. Look at the bedding, kids.
This was the third class cabin.
Looks more of a coffin than a bed. Behind you. You can buy that. Yeah, you can buy these. Yeah, the chart at the shop.
That's probably a first class cabin.
Yeah, definitely. We'll choose talking to him. Jack painted rose on. Belfast, Hampton.
It's just one of the largest liners. You compare them to nowadays liners.
Yeah. Might be a tugboat.
20,000 square.
De mindenkit felvettek már.
God, that guy's rain's worse than yours.
On board RMS Titanic.
Yeah, his rain's worse than yours. Oh. That's from the suitcase, right?
They're not real, though, are they?
No, but
That's if they were, Jesus Christ.
no, but like
Yeah.
we could climb in that. Oh wow. Need a picture with the wheel. Why not?
Like average.
I still like the guy that got drunk. Served him. Sweet, did you want me to show it why?
Shut up your channel, see what I want to pay
Well, I hope they felt so bad.
Trading by, but that building kept bumping along the rail, and as it bumped, it sliced off its of ice. Ice fell all over the deck. We just pick up the ice and start to play snowballs. We thought it was fun. We asked the officers if there was any danger. They said, no, nothing at all, nothing at all. Nothing at all, just a mere nothing. We just hit an iceberg.
It wasn't long before Vauxhall, Port Ox, Otis head round my door and said, you know, we struck an iceberg. I know you've struck something, I told him, not thinking it anything serious and feeling none too pleased. Then he said, the water's up to F taking the mail road.
It was about midnight when I became aware that there was no hope of the Titanic remaining afloat. The lifeboats were then being lowered as quickly as possible with women and children. Well, contrary to what one would expect, there was little or no commotion as the boats were lowered. After waiting some time, I got on a boat, and this was so crowded that something prompted me to ask to be taken back again on the ship.
No, fine dress,
Strange
stick it on there,
as
you
it
go
may
moving.
seem, when this lifeboat was being released from the deck, it overturned and all in it was drowned.
Yeah, but if you look like a woman, get on the
I was
boat.
very frightened by this time, and I went quickly to the other side. The last boat was being filled, and I was the last one to get onto it. The water was by this time nearly on a level with the deck from which the boats were being lowered.
Now, between lowering one boat and another, I frequently took a run forward and a quick look down the long stair decks down. Frankly, I'm never likely to forget the sight of that cold, greenish water creeping step by step up that stairway.
The ship was now sinking fast, but the crowd on deck was quite calm. Our whole trouble was in getting away as quickly as possible, otherwise our boat would be pulled down with the ship. During all this time, the ship's piano was kept playing, and the strains of Near My God to Thee could be plainly heard as the stern of the great ship was raised in the air.
A bit later, the foreign funnel guys carried away, and the funnel, weighing perhaps 50 or 60 tons, fell down with a crash on the water. It missed the rock and some of us hanging onto it, by inches. There were a good many it didn't. Next thing I remember, I was still hanging on to a bit of rope attached to the rock, but some 30 or 40 yards away from the ship. The wash of the falling funnel had evidently picked us up, raft and all, and flung us clear of the ship altogether.
I was surprised to see all the boats had gone, and there was the last boat, I think, to leave the Titanic was number 13. No, there was a 15, but we had trouble with our davits. They were frozen, and I'll tell you, I thought we were just going to be dumped into the water. We had one of the worst times for that boat to be lowered. And I had the baby, and the baby was crying all night, and so finally we touched the water, and we were lowering. There was a light in the distance, and the captain said, now, men, row to that light, empty your ship, and come back and pick up more passengers. Our men rowed and rowed, but that light was no nearer, or more distinct or indistinct. And we all called it the mysterious light. Oh, I knew I was going to drown. I knew my days were numbered. I felt that way. I really was reconciled to death. Being a Catholic, there were 3 priests on board, and I'd been to confession, I'd been to Holy Communion, and I thought, well, God is good, He's going to take me into the state of grace. That was my feeling. Well, I learned the thing with God, all things are possible. You can't build a ship that's unsinkable.
The sea was perfectly still
When we left the ship,
every star in the heavens was visible. There was no moon. It was dark.
Like sponges.
For a long time we didn't move the boat. And when we made off on the south side, you could see by the arrangements of the lights. All the lights were burning. You could see the ship was going down.
Slowly, you hear the honey. The
This person saved. How many is that?
Change of those died was 30.
124 kids under the age of 15 were on board. 51 was saved.
3 dogs were on board.
Yeah. This woman died at a Great Dane.
1,600 men, 20% were saved.
Yeah, I told you just go find a dress.
First class person was saved at the highest rate of 200 days.
Oh, of
Only
course.
saved 32% of the people.
Fucking hell.
The youngest person died as 4 minutes old.
Oh.
Oh, wow. 53% people died as saved.
Was that passion or what?
It's a database of all the passengers. People in white survived and people in black didn't.
Wow. Well, I've got all the Christian things next to the name. That's insane. Of course I know, so. Search, was that say search the database? Oh, I have left. Okay. Nope.
Officers, there was any danger? I said, no, nothing at all, nothing at all. Nothing at all, just a mere nothing. He's a nice guy.
Oh.
They got removed and never replaced, so they didn't see it.
Really?
Through ice again. Because I think they went down.
I mentioned about someone like, that's my job, and didn't do it.
Well, there's a last minute shift change. We died just to put the doctors back in the thing.
But apparently him shouting just men and women, like women and children, was an accident. I misheard them. Meant to say. That's pretty. That's insane. It's really just...
I'm coming with some of the nicest people in the world too. Isn't that just splendid?
This going away from home will make me a better man and try and lead a good life.